Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 4:30. We've got some more insight today into the Delphi murders trial. Today, we learned how police tied the bullet that was found near the bodies of Libby German and Abby Williams to the suspect, Richard Allen.
Our legal expert, attorney Katie Jackson-Lindsay, joins us with more on today's testimony. And so what does this expert and testimony mean to the jury?
So now the state, through this particular testimony, through this particular expert, has been able to put Richard Allen at the scene of this crime through forensic analysis.
What does this mean now for Richard Allen? Is this, was the testimony, in favorable in terms of the state or the defense?
It was definitely favorable in terms of the state, because up until this point, we've heard throughout the testimony that each time the state would introduce some sort of evidence, the defense would be able to say, but you can't tie that to Mr. Allen. In this scenario, they are now able to tie a significant piece of evidence, a bullet that was on the scene, to Richard Allen.
And do you know what the defense is saying? Are they able to explain why there would be a connection to Richard Allen, but Richard Allen is still not the one that's done it according to the defense?
Well, we've been able to see a little bit of a glimpse of that. We have heard questions throughout other witnesses about the condition of this bullet, suggesting that maybe it had been there for a long time. We've heard questions from the defense about whether or not it's uncommon to find a bullet in the woods under these circumstances, maybe from hunting or fishing. And so we have started to see a little bit about how they're going to attack that. But I suspect in their case, and they don't have to put on any case, they don't have any burden, but we do know that they are going to put on a case based on their witness list. I suspect that we will see or hear from an expert that will challenge this actual science that this expert is using more thoroughly.
The burden of proof is on the prosecutors.
That's correct.
Okay.
Bob said at 4 o'clock, it appeared as though the jury was bored listening to that. What do you read into that in terms of how they're looking at all this?
Forensic evidence is tough. It's tough for a layperson to understand, even as an attorney for 16 years on both sides. That evidence can be really dense and hard to make exciting, and you don't want to lose your jury, but sometimes you do, and there's really not a way to fluff it up. And so if they were losing the jury's attention, that's something the lawyers have to really pay attention to, and whether it's raising your voice a little bit or even asking the judge for a break, sometimes you have to do that to make sure the jury stays tuned in.
Okay, we have a few seconds. Our producers are telling us to wrap, but just where do you think this trial stands?
Well, I think now we are starting to really see that picture come together in terms of all of the elements that they have to prove for murder. They've now been able to put Richard Allen there, and they've proven a knowing and intentional killing. So I think we're getting close to the end of the state's case.
All right, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, our legal expert. She's going to be taking a deeper dive at today's developments during our Delphi debrief tonight on WTHR+.
All right, and you can catch that every night at 10 during the trial. It is a free download on Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, as well as Roku.